I wanted to like him, the pick, and I did for 5 minutes because of his name. And I was going to even let the Yale lawyer thing go, but nope, can't do it. Yeah, because I was reading part of J.D. Vance's book. It was a bestseller, like in 2016, Hillbilly something it's called. And then all of a sudden, the bullshit bells just started going off. Bullshit. So here, and he went. He's married to a Yale lawyer. He's a Yale lawyer. I was willing to say, okay, well, maybe not every lawyer that comes out of Yale is. But then he goes on in this book to talk about how his faith slowly and incrementally brought him to how Catholicism is where the truth is. Okay, yeah, for him, he's a lawyer. Like literally, I think the Catholic religion was designed for lawyers. Because think about it, lawyers literally lie for a living. That's what they do. They lie for a living, stretch the truth, whether they're prosecutor, defense, whatever. They got to win the case, right? So they lie for a living and get paid for it. So you need to find, a tainted church, in my opinion, that would help you justify you doing that. Yeah, this is the reason Jesus, again, it is so simple here. It is so simple. But the people in Washington aren't going to ever get it because they're all lawyers. And the billionaires, they hang with the lawyers, don't they? Yeah, they all do. Whether they're in Silicon Valley, they all hang with each other. They all think that everything they say is so profound. They all think that they have the right vision. And really what I see more and more is most of them don't have a damn bit of insight, okay? They don't. I'm truly not trying to be mean here. I'm not. It's just that if you truly... I guess I can say it, but I can't say it because everybody, there's a lot of people that believe in Catholicism, but it's been the state-run religion. What I would like to see, this is really what I would like. I would like to see what it would be like if the people that Jesus chose to run the country, what it would look like. Because again, who did Jesus go to? Jesus is you don't get any more expert than Jesus. Jesus did not go to experts. He did not go to the educated. He did not go to the church leaders. He went to what this world back then and still today sees as the losers. That's who he put in charge of the most important things. The most important evidence. So I don't think it's good that lawyers are running the country at all. It's just not a good. But that's the way it's always been. And let me say this: that's the way it always will be. It will not. It will only change when Jesus returns. So this is why people get to this point where you say, you know what, forget it. It's not going to change. It's not. Oh, maybe something here and there will change. But ultimately, lawyers will still be running the show. People that get in will still be picking lawyers to be their VPs or whatever they pick them to be because the lawyers run the show, most especially the ones coming out of Yale. So this country was supposed to be about the average person. So you'd think that if it's about the average person, you'd want to have average people in place. But no, this world is all about the degrees, the college you went to. Yeah, Jesus wasn't about all that. So Jesus is the top expert. The billionaires are not. Jesus is. I'm just saying. So he goes on to say here, this is from J.D. Vance's book, it was the best criticism of our modern age I've ever read, a society oriented entirely towards consumption and pleasure, spurning duty and virtue. Not long after I first read these words, my friend Oren Cass published a book arguing that American policymakers have focused far too much on promoting consumption as opposed to productivity or some other measure of well-being. The reaction criticizing Oren for daring to push policies that might lower consumption almost proved the argument. Yes, I found myself saying Oren's preferred policies might reduce per capita consumption, but that's precisely the point. Our society is more than the sum of its economic statistics. If people die sooner in the midst of historical levels of consumption, then perhaps our focus on consumption is misguided. And indeed, it was this insight. Okay, you don't have a lot of insight, JD. I'm just being honest. More than any other that ultimately led not just to Christianity, but to Catholicism. Yes. Despite my mamu's grandma, unfamiliarity with liturgy, the Roman and Italian cultural influences, and the foreign pope, I slowly began to see Catholicism as the closest expression of her kind of Christianity, obsessed with virtue, but cognizant of the fact that virtue is formed in the context of a broader community, sympathetic with the meek and the poor of the world without treating them primarily as victims, protective of children and families, and with the things necessary to ensure they thrive, and above all, a faith centered around a Christ who demands perfection of us even. No, he does not demand perfection, because he knows you will never be at perfect. But yeah, it's Catholic. He loves unconditionally and forgives easily. It was this insight, again, no, but he says, it was this insight that took me from a few informal conversations with a couple of Dominican friars to a more serious period of study with one in particular. I almost wish it hadn't been so gradual, that there might have been an aha moment that made me realize I just had to become Catholic. So here's the thing. He talks about these moments where he's been touched by God, but Catholicism doesn't help you understand that there's a personal relationship there. He goes on to talk, these are just it's all fluff, okay, about how, this one really is infuriating, this line. He says, late at night at the hotel bar, I questioned a conservative Catholic writer about his criticisms of the Pope. Well, it's good that there's people criticizing the Pope. There's a whole bunch to criticize there. It's totally against what Jesus wanted. Did Jesus strike me down? Or, I don't want that, of course. It's not. Jesus didn't want all that. My growing view is that he says in parentheses, so he's talking about himself. My growing view is that too many American Catholics have failed to show proper deference to the papacy, treating the Pope as a political figure to be criticized or praised according to their whims. Oh, J.D. Vance, please. There's the Committee of 300. There's the House of Rome there. They're all at the UN. So what the hell are you talking about? They are a political entity. They always have been. They're the same thing as the Church of England. And I can't imagine that you don't know this. You're just full of shit. And I hate to say that. I know he's good friends with the Don Jr., but again, I live in this country too. I have a right to say it. Okay? It's bullshit, all these lawyers. It's bullshit, all these bullshitters. He doesn't have insight. He doesn't understand Jesus and all this converting to Catholicism. No, if you grow closer to God, you should be moving away from that. I'm just saying you should, because God shows you the truth. So why isn't he showing the truth to J.D. Vance, huh? Do you think God would support what the Catholic charities, the Catholic non-governmental agencies have been doing at the border with trafficking? Absolutely not. How many children have to be molested before people start calling for no more Catholic Church? Or just stop going. That's the problem. The Pope the Pope is no different than the Jewish leaders that Jesus did not go to. Because he knew they weren't going to get it, just like J.D. Vance isn't going to get it, just like all these people. Because they would rather promote the church, they would rather promote the denomination than actually the word of Christ. Yeah, those people will never get it, because God bestows the truth on you. J.D. Vance, well, unfortunately, even though I like his name, he's just another bullshitter.